poet and the peasant. Now in this next piece, you want to think about what is originally written for. Anybody know what it was originally written for? It's your test of the evening. The Slavonic dances, Dvorak wrote 16 of them. They were kind of in two sets. And they were originally written for piano, 4 hands. So if you've seen any four-handed piano players around here. The piano 4 hands, which has got to be a lot of fun to play. I'd love to try that sometime. And then, originally written for piano, 4 hands, the dances were inspired by Johannes Brahms' own Hungarian dances. As you've heard, we've played a couple of the Brahms Hungarian dances. And they were these were orchestrated at the request of Dvorak's publisher soon after they were composed. The pieces are lively, full of national character, and were well received at the time, and today are considered among the composer's most memorable works. So we'll see what you think. Almost had some excitement there. Oh, it was the violin bowl. This next piece has a little bit of an unusual finding, not real common. So Rossini presented his Armida in November of 1817, so it was just a couple of years ago, to an audience in Naples in the Opera House that had been refurbished following a fire. The story is of a Damascus princess Armida and a particularly inspired composers. She used her beauty and her magic powers to seduce, thus render unfit the battle of the Crusaders who have come to the Holy Land to recapture the hallowed grave of Christ. He tailored his only opera with one sole female leading role to suit the Spanish prima donna, Isabella Colbran, who had later become his wife. The singer possessed both the vocal and the dramatic abilities required to make the transition from the mere simple presentation of virtuosity to the creation of the role. She gave the role feeling and character and made a sensual Armida one of the greatest female figures in opera of the 19th century. However, this opera, I don't think I've ever heard it anywhere. I heard this part of it played on the radio. It was about 10, 12 years ago, whatever year the copyright is on here. And I thought, yeah, I really like that. And I wonder if I can get that, you know, something fun for the orchestra to be part of it or something. I checked around, couldn't get it anywhere. Found out there were 4 scores in existence in the entire plant. And one of them was in Atlanta, Georgia. And a friend of mine at the university had connections to be able to get that score up here. So I had it in my possession for a month's copy, but I went and then did this arrangement of it from that, extracted that, because it's such a fun, nice little piece that, you know, for those of you that don't like opera, it's a typical opera story, you know, the fat soprano dies at the end. But the music is absolutely marvelous. Hopefully you enjoy it. Wasn't that fun? They should do that whole opera. Oh, wait a minute. Thank you. I have to turn on this mic. Okay. I'll repeat that for you. Wasn't that fun? They should do the whole, the opera company should do the whole opera. It's delightful music. Now next, the Dancing Sergeant is from a thing called 5 Images for Orchestra by Dello, Joio. Short, fun pieces, nothing fantastic. Another one is also published for piano, 4 hands. So if any of you piano players have 4 hands, there's a number of these pieces you can look up and get. So I don't know, how many of you were sergeants in the military? Nobody? Am I the only one? I don't dance, so you know. Sit down here. For this Britten piece that we're doing, actually Britten kind of arranged it. It has these 5 parts, and the 5 parts are kind of interesting. The first one is a march, which is a theme heard 3 times from various instruments, and it's from the 3rd act of William Tell. So if you just think about William Tell Overture, the canzonetta is a theme that's actually Rossini's original Soirées musical piece. First in fact titled La Promessa. Then there's the Tyrolese, which is derived from Rossini's La Pastorella dei Alpi, and evokes a vision in Schulplatter dancing, whatever that is. Anybody know how to do that? Along with yodeling, which we're not doing any of that. As suggested first by the trumpet and then by the other instruments. Then there's the bolero, the invito with the Spanish flavor. Note the castanets, which we will feature our percussionists over here playing. And then the last movement is a tarantella. And if you look at that word can also mean tarantula. Now what happens, if you get bit by a tarantula, you will run and do the tarantella. And we have a tarantula here. We have a tarantula here. A real live tarantula. We've made friends with him though, so he promised he wouldn't bite anybody here. Here, Glen, you want him to bite you? And then we have a little tarantula too. And this little one, if you put him up, watch this. Huh? We need the big one. The big one, yeah. Here's the big one. Ah, Glen, he's going to come and get you. You should get him come back and come and get you. Ah. Let's put him here for now. Okay, sit there. Oh, Dan, what's his name? Dan brought the big one, and he apparently doesn't have a name.
Not on the silent auction.
No, he wasn't on the auction. No, well, then they can go sit there. Okay. Soirées musica. Now this next piece was written for us, actually originally written for the Minneapolis Trombone Choir. And I asked Glen here, Glen writes, does some wonderful composing and arranging things. And I said, you know, have you got anything new or anything for the orchestra? And he said, well, that piece would go really good for orchestra. And so, of course, everything goes better for orchestra than anything else, right, Glen?
Right.
And so I will let Glen tell you about the piece. Here you go. Do you want the color?
So this piece is about peaches. It's got 4 things that you might think about peaches, each about a minute long, all woven together into one composition. It starts with fresh peaches, and they're just full of life and taste. Then there's rotten peaches, and I'll warn you, in that one I wrote some deliberately rotten notes for the brass. Right, brass? Right. And then after that, we go into sweet peaches, which is kind of an 1890s style waltz. And finally, peach Bellini. Now, have any of you ever had a peach Bellini? Well, for those of you that hadn't, I'll point out that it's pureed peaches in champagne, okay? So that's peach Bellini. And imagine yourself sitting on the beach at some resort drinking a peach Bellini. Now from that introduction, you might think that this song is all about fruit, but it's actually about a cat. This is Color of Cat Peach Bellini. She's a grand champion cat in the American Cat Fanciers Association, and sometimes her owner calls her rotten peaches, or calls her maybe fresh peaches or sweet peaches. She was a cover girl when she was about 1.5 years old. She was on the cover of Cat Fancy magazine. Anybody here get Cat Fancy magazine? Yeah. That was the Maine Coon issue. She's a Maine Coon cat. And then the photographer, David Perez, also took a picture of her standing next to this. Now, I extended a formal invitation to Peaches, which is her nickname, to come to this concert to meet all of you, but she told me, you know, I don't think I want to be in a building where there's so many people with cat gut on their instruments. So here we have Peach Bellini.
Probably not only cat gut on their instruments, but some of us have cat on our fur on our. How many of you are cat persons? Lots of cat persons, right? Orchestra, some of you got cats, right? Yeah, cat persons. Huh? Low maintenance. Low maintenance. Cats are low maintenance. That's right. Sarah has a beautiful little cat. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, the bid on conducting and playing in the orchestra, we brought that out. It's sitting over there. So should you want to sneak up and bid before we got one more number before we do it, you're welcome to do that. So we will now play Peach Bellini. By the way, I have met Peaches. She's a very nice cat. I know who her owner is too. Now, before we announce the winner, so you probably noticed CTV is here recording, so this will be, in a couple of weeks or so, will be on the air. That's a syncopated clock is a Leroy Anderson piece. He wrote most of his things for the Boston Pops. You've probably heard somebody say there's many of his delightful, fun pieces. And so this is the one we decided to use for the person winning the playing of the orchestra. They let me get the pages here and see. Let's see here. I can't read your handwriting. Hagstrom? Are you number 1048, Hagstrom? You are the winner. Come up here. What's your first name?
Diedrea.
Deirdre
Yes.
Hagstrom. Hagstrom, is that right?
Yes.
Do you play anything?
Piano and violin, but
Oh.
not the triangle.
Not so you're wanting to learn to play the triangle?
I do, kind of.
Okay, go back here, and one of our fine percussionists here will show you how to play that triangle. Have her hold it in one hand and play it in the other hand. Yeah, Aaron, take it off the music stand. Take it off the stand and have her hold it. Have her hold it up in one hand. And show her how to hit it with the other hand. That's right. Isn't that a fun instrument? Now the way you will know when to play it is every time I point at you, you play it. So if I do that, play it. Every time I point at you, then you play it, you hit that. See? There you go. So now while we're playing this piece, every time I point at you with my left hand, you hit the triangle, okay? Okay. Oh, you're going to be fabulous, isn't she? Cheer her on. Yeah, all right. Okay, let's go. We've got a real clock back here. Can you believe that? There we go. See, we got a real clock. Chance practice. Okay. Next time you bring your violin. Because you see, sometimes doing that is a foot in the door on getting the orchestra. Mary right here, wanted, I don't know how many years ago was it, Mary? She won it several years ago, and she came in and played the triangle, and then we let her come in and play the violin. Which she's already sitting up here in the front row, you know. So she's right, Mary.
Right.
If she hadn't played the triangle, she never would have learned to play the violin. Oh, and our clock player back there, Brenda. Brenda. She's our clock player. Now the next piece is for the conductor winner. It's a march called Flying Eagle March by Blankenberg. He was one of the world. He wrote more marches than any other composer. Believe it or not, even more than John Philip Sousa. So whoever wins this, it's a real honor to conduct it. And the winner is Mayor Donna Schmidt. Where are you, Donna? Donna, Columbia Heights. That's Columbia Heights. Donna is the mayor of Columbia Heights. We have wonderful neighbors at Columbia Heights. Donna comes to our concerts. We've got some other Columbia Heights. Loris, we've got some other Columbia Heights people here. But Donna, you get the honor of conducting our orchestra. Now, you said you played trumpet in high school. I think you told me that one time. So trumpets, watch out. And so you get to conduct this march. Okay, here's the stick. Do you know how to conduct? She knows how to read music a little bit. Sorry about the notes being so small on that score. They're typically that way. But basically to conduct, all you got to do is wave your arms vigorously till the music stops, and then you turn around and bow. Right? Hang out 1 second. Let me give these to these guys need these. By the way, Glen Peaches is in there, and he's trying to help them tabulate. They're tabulating up all your winnings. Okay, Donna. Okay, we're going to do Flying Eagle March. Can you get them started? Yeah, we have more than trumpets. We have a couple of more instruments than just trumpets in the orchestra. We have violins and cellos and lots of other important people too. And this spider over here is going to play too. Oh, I almost forgot one important thing. I almost forgot. This is Flying Eagle March, and we have an eagle. And this little eagle was loaned to us by Lisa Ward, who's in there helping tabulate. And the spider came from Dan Hosepian in the orchestra. So this is a Flying Eagle. See, we'll put him over here by the spiders. You tell him what to do. Okay, Donna.
You guys have practiced this. Yeah.
We spent hours rehearsing it just for you. for the cable people, I turned this off before I went back there to play the bells. Okay. We have now for a little dance band music. How many of you dance? If you'd like to get up and dance to some of this, you are welcome to. We're going to do Duke Ellington, which includes the titles here are about a number 2 print. Well, let's see at the end if you can name the tunes. Ha ha ha. We're a jazz band, jazz orchestra. Okay, we've got one more piece on the program that's not listed in your programs. I got home the other night and realized that I made a grave error. Yesterday was a major birthday. You know whose it was? No? You all live here in Minnesota and you don't know whose it was? Minnesota was 160 years old yesterday. And so I thought, yes, Stefan, it's older than you. So anyway, I thought, well, we better do something. So I pulled out the music to Hail Minnesota and emailed it to the players. The Hail Minnesota song was written actually for the University of Minnesota in 1904 and 1905, written by a couple of university students. And then later it was used, and then later it was changed. In 1945, it was voted in, words changed a bit, voted in to be the Minnesota state song. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know, Minnesota, hail to thee, our state so dear. Thy light shall ever be a beacon bright and clear. Thy sons and daughters true will proclaim thee near and far. They shall guard thy fame and adore thy name. Thou shalt be their northern star. You know, do some of you know the words to that? Probably have not heard it. Well, you'll recognize you've heard it. Okay, you're welcome to sing along if you know it. Okay, as the orchestra site reads the. beautiful song? You want to sing it? You want to try? Oh, come on. I see you going, come on, cowards. I know we've had audiences that are great singers when we've given you the words before. I'll help you out. Think about the words. Now that you've heard the music, you know how it goes. Minnesota, hail to thee. Hail to thee, our state so dear. Thy light shall ever be a beacon bright and clear. Thy sons and daughters true will proclaim thee near and far. They shall guard thy fame and adore thy name. Thou shalt be their northern star. Let's hear you sing it. I'll help you. Okay, again from the beginning. I'll help you. I'll help you. Okay, ready? A new song tonight. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you.